So in today's video, we're going to break through my top 10 races from the 2020 NASCAR Cup Series season. So again, Cup Series, we're not going to include any races from the Truck or Xfinity Series, and this is very biased. Again, this is my top 10 races from this season. First, we're going to start off with this one. We've got the first of two Michigan races on the doubleheader. I chose this race to be number 10 because it is my home racetrack. It was very unique watching it on TV this year because I've been so used to going there in person over the last few years. And obviously both races I got to watch on TV. Not only that, I had one of my best friends at my house watching the race that we had gone to at least one of those races in person over the last few seasons as well. So it kind of brought a little bit of a special memory. And on top of it, it was a pretty solid race. I thought it was the best Michigan race since the repave up to this point. Ended up having a pretty good finish. There were storylines. Brad Keselowski was coming in. Almost got that first win at his home track. That would have been huge. And Kevin Harvick's story of the day. He was the most dominant car, and he had been the most dominant driver over that portion of the season. So again, Michigan Firekeepers Casino 400 is number 10 on this list. So at number 9 on the list, we've got Kentucky, the Quaker State 400. Reason why this race is number 9 on the list is simply just because of the finish. I thought it was the best finish of the year. As a Ryan Blaney fan, seeing him try to take it 3 wide and then Cole Custer take it 4 wide on the outside, thinking Blaney had a shot to win until he hit that drainage pipe or drain on the inside of the racetrack and bounced up into Harvick. And then Harvick bounced up into Truex, allowing Custer to get to the win. And obviously, seeing Cole Custer get his first career win, it's always nice to see a driver get their first career win, especially if it's a rookie like Cole Custer did this season. That was an awesome experience to see on television. It was another race I was supposed to be at live in person, so it was unfortunate I had to watch it on TV. And it might have been the last race at Kentucky ever. We never know, depending on what the 2021 schedule looks like. So they went out with a bang, really 2 years in a row. So awesome finish. This is number 9. And at number 8 on this list, we've got the first of 2 Daytona races, in fact, on this list. It is the Coke Zero 400. It was the final race of the regular season. Huge points battle to decide who the last couple drivers were going to make into the playoffs. And much like in number 9 on this video, we have a first-time winner. William Byron was able to get his first career win, fending off the field and clinching a playoff spot in the most clutch way possible. All the excitement in the final finishing closing moments of this lap with all 3 of the bubble drivers of DiBenedetto, Byron, and Johnson missing a big wreck just for Johnson to get caught up in the next one and ending his shot to make the playoffs in his final season. A lot of drama that went into this race. There's no way I could have left this race off the list. And at number 7 on the list, we have the Daytona 500. Now, obviously everybody might say that they remember the race, and how could this race be so high on the list with the accident that happened to Ryan Newman on the last lap of the race? Well, excluding that and the fact that we had a couple ugly overtime finishes, I actually thought that this was the best Daytona 500 since 2016. And my guy, again, a little bit of bias in this, a lot of bias in this list, Ryan Blaney almost pulled it off. He just finished in runner-up place, second by a nose. Plus, NASCAR history was made this day with Denny Hamlin getting his 3rd Daytona 500 victory in just a margin of 5 years. Incredible. There's the finish. I mean, I was definitely on the edge of my seat at the end of the race. Ryan Blaney almost pulled it off, and I couldn't believe what had happened in that spectacular finish. So, again, number 7 on the list, Daytona 500. At number 6 on this list, we've got the Xfinity 500, the Martinsville cutoff race in the round of 8. Reason why this one was special, it's because a lot of similar things that we had in the Daytona August race. Playoff bubble, we had a lot of drivers that were in potential to miss or make the next round of the playoffs, which would have been the championship for Kevin Harvick, the most dominant driver all season. Denny Hamlin, the second most dominant driver all season. You can argue Keselowski, the 3rd most dominant driver all season, all on the bubble. One of them was going to miss. It came down to the final lap of the race, and not only that, it was because Chase Elliott gets another win on the season, this one punching his ticket into the championship 4. And of course, the spin off of turn 4 when Harvick tried to wipe out Busch for the last point. All of it had me on the edge of my seat, hands on my head. I couldn't believe anything that happened. That was definitely a lot of exciting moments throughout the course of the race, but that was the most exciting as it hit its final laps of the race. Next on this list, we've got the Southern 500 at number 5. Reason being, it was a race I went to, and it was in the playoffs, and it was my first trip to Darlington, and the first Crown Jewel event I had gone to since 2018 when I went to the Brickyard 400. It was an exciting race, pretty much from mainly the second half of the race in all reality, and it came down to this right here. Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr. duking it out, mano a mano late in the race. Elliott got the track position. Truex had the fastest car throughout the course of the race, was trying to change his line to break the dirty air to get by Chase Elliott. He had his opportunity. He put him and Elliott in the wall. Neither one of those two guys won the race. Kevin Harvick sitting in third ended up taking the lead. Austin Dillon tried to run him down in the closing laps, ran out of time. Harvick goes on to win, and even though I've seen Kevin Harvick win a lot in person, that was probably the most exciting of the ones that I've seen him win in person, and that was a very fun race to be at. It was definitely worth my first Darlington trip ever, and I'm glad to hopefully one day go back there again. 4 on the list, we've got the Bristol All-Star Race. Now, as far as the racing went that night, it probably would not have made this top 10 list, to be quite honest, but because I was there in person, and it was the first race I was at this year after waiting a long time to go to a race due to the COVID pandemic, there was a lot of special things that went on with this. It was also my first Bristol experience, so to add on to that, I was super pumped to get there. Chills walking in through the gates. It was a very awesome feeling to see this track under the lights. It was a beauty, to say the least. And the race itself, I mean, it was a good race. It wasn't a bad race by any means. It was a good race. But again, the experience of it being my first Bristol race, the first race I was at this season, I mean, again, I missed out on, by this point of the year, I would have already been to one Michigan race, the Coke 600, and a Pocono doubleheader that I had to miss out on due to the pandemic. So to have to wait a couple extra months to get to this destination and have it be Bristol of all places that I wasn't expecting to go, I was super pumped for it. It was one of the more, I guess, giddy experiences I've ever been or ever had at a NASCAR race, to say the least. And that was despite the fact I've been to dozens of races before this. So that is awesome. And this memory will stick in my head for the rest of my life. Now at number 3 on the list, we have the Spring Talladega race. Why is this race up so high on the list? Well, it was because my favorite driver, Ryan Blaney, got the win, and it was in dramatic fashion. Going into the day, it was rained out. Obviously, they ended up having to run on a Monday. I likely was looking at not being able to get off of work on time to see the race, or so I was going to listen to it. I have Hulu on my phone, so I was listening to the race on my phone while I was working, trying to glance over whenever I could, and I ended up getting off of work at a perfect time because of the rain delay during the Monday portion of the race. I was actually able to see the last 37 laps, or listen to it on the road. For about the last 5 laps of the race, I actually pulled over on the side of the road so I could watch the last 6 or 7 laps of the race, and sure enough, my guy won. I was pounding the steering wheel, honking the horn. It was, I mean, I kid you not, it was awesome. I was yelling. It was the most thrilling win I think I've seen out of any of Ryan Blaney's wins, and obviously he's had nothing but thrilling wins in his career, but for some reason that one, in the instant, I don't think I celebrated any harder as a Ryan Blaney fan. Sure enough, it was his only win on the season, had to be in the top 3, so thanks Ryan Blaney, and thanks Talladega for bringing the action-packed awesomeness it typically brings every single race. And number 2 on this list, Talladega in the fall. Playoff race, drama ensued all throughout. Was it the most sloppy Talladega race probably ever? Yes. Did I enjoy it because it was sloppy? No. I enjoyed it because it was my first Talladega experience. And one hell of a finish, might I add, on top of it. Yes, you could say Denny Hamlin went below the WO line and won the race. so be it. In the instant of the moment that they were 3 wide for the lead off of turn 4, being there in person for a finish like that definitely takes the cake. That is definitely the best finish I have seen live in person. The crowd was on the edge of their seat all the way to the finish. The fact that Matt DiBenedetto is in a possibility to get his first career win. I was pulling for him in the last couple laps because Blaney had gotten knocked out the caution before that. It was so intense, and I will never forget it, and it makes me want to go back, and hell, I'll likely be back there again next year. So thanks, Talladega, and thanks for that memory. Now, at number 1 on the list, we've got the Food City 500, the Spring Bristol race. In my opinion, this is the best race of the 2020 NASCAR season. It was Bristol at its finest. It is my favorite track, and this is why. Never ceases to amaze me majority of the time. You had Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott battling it out for the win. Hamlin getting loose, Joey Logano taking the lead. Hamlin, Elliott, Logano getting together. Hamlin wrecks. They have a caution. Then they get a restart. Then, last but not least, you get to the finish. The even better portion of the finish. Joey Logano, Chase Elliott going toe-to-toe, back and forth, trading paint, trading the lead, until eventually Chase Elliott just couldn't stick the bottom of the corner, washed up the track right into Joey Logano, putting them both in the wall. Brad Keselowski steals the show for Penske Racing and brings home, at the time, his second win of the season. In both of his first 2 wins, Chase Elliott, sure enough, had a shot to win it and kind of gave the lead and the win right to Brad Keselowski. It was Bristol at its finest, and again, I had to put it above any of the races I went to and Ryan Blaney's 1 win this season simply because I thought it was flat out that good of a race. It was the best race this season, and again, it's the best that NASCAR has to offer. It's Bristol, baby, and that was 2020. My favorite 2020 races from the season, specifically my top 10. Comment down below, what are your favorite races from the 2020 season? What do you think was the best race? Also, hit the subscribe button for more daily NASCAR content. Hit the like button down below if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.